Today's video has kindly been sponsored by JLC 3DP. After unboxing the SF90XX in the last video, if you haven't seen that, do check that out. I moved it straight into the workbench and started preparing the body. All of the panel lines did not need any attention whatsoever, so just a light sand with a 600 grit before I could move it into the spray booth for a couple coats of primer. With all of the surfaces now sanded, I moved it into the spray booth, removed all of the dust, and applied a couple light coats of Mr. Hobby Surface Primer. Instead of the standard black or red or maybe even yellow that you see a lot on Ferraris, I wanted to go a bit different, a bit more extreme, and I started with a base coat of the blue Electrico. This is also a Ferrari color, which I think is really cool, and it suits this car and the aggressiveness of the body lines really well. So first of all, I moved on to painting all of those hard to reach, easy to forget spots, then also moved over all of the panel lines as they are bit deep, and the airbrush that I'm using has a 0.5 nozzle, so that tends to spray over the panel lines and not really in them. So I decided to do a sort of pre-shading on all of the panel lines, making sure that they were covered inside and out, and could then move on to the rest of the bodywork in a couple light coats. With all of the tough spots now taken care of, it was time to move on to the main body, which I've already been painting, but now just the rest of the panels and applying a couple nice coats of the blue. This one covers really well, really easily, and creates a super nice finish. So for this one, I'm using a gallery airbrush. I have been using many of them on many of my builds, and I'm really happy with the way that they spray. They have different sizes, different price levels, different nozzles, everything you need. So do check out the links in the description down below to Gallery. They have a fantastic offering of airbrushes for the model car builder, which are really suitable for painting these car bodies, but also the smaller bits for the interior, exterior, and pretty much everything you want to use an airbrush for. With the first coat now applied, I let that sit and dry for about 5 to 10 minutes and then moved on to the second and final coat of color. The first one covered it pretty much all the way. The second one is just to make sure that everything is indeed covered, there's no striping, and the finish is nice and even all round. Today's video has been sponsored by JLC 3DP. If you do not have a 3D printer yourself but are ever in need of a 3D printed part, JLC 3DP has a super nicely streamlined online platform that allows for easy uploading of 3D models, gives you instant quotes, and also real-time order tracking. There is a wide variety of materials that you can choose from, such as SLA, nylon, metal, plastic, or SLS nylon, or even WJP resin. They meticulously manage every step with production times as fast as 24 hours and delivery within just 2 days. Check out what JLC 3DP can do for you at the link below. JLC 3DP 3D printing starts at just 30 cents, and there are coupons up to $70 available for new users. Now, even though I have the luxury of having tons of 3D printers available to me, I did still want to test out their service. So I uploaded some files, selected the materials, and waited for them to arrive. The specific model I was going for was for a sort of desk ornament and also a bit of a paperweight in the form of an automotive item. So I decided to upload a tire and also a wheel. The tire was printed in black resin and the wheel was done out of metal, simply because I was curious of the quality and also wanted to feel the weight of it. I did manage to make a tiny mistake in the scaling. The wheel is a bit too small, or the tire is a little bit too big, so they didn't fit together as well as I'd wanted to. So I added a small amount of duct tape around the wheel itself just to fit a bit tighter inside of the tire, and it does give a bit more shade and depth to the overall look, so it's not that bad of a mistake in the end. I'm really happy with the way that the material is able to be handled. The quality is pretty nice, and also the weight is really good too. Something I wanted to try for a long time, so thank you to JLC 3DP for helping me out with this. Again, if any of you are interested in checking them out, I will be leaving links in the description down below. Thank you JLC 3DP for sponsoring this video. Now back to work. So after applying all of the color coats, I let the body sit and dry overnight before I moved on to the decals. Now for this one, you have many different options to go for: a colored roof, a carbon fiber roof, maybe even a black roof, which is sort of colored, but well, never mind. You can do pretty much anything you want, and I decided to go for a carbon roof. So the decals are included in the kit. They are pre-cut, pre-sized, and they fit really well. But it is still a ton of work, as there is a ton of carbon fiber. If you've watched the unboxing video, there's 3 or 4 sheets full with carbon fiber for both the exterior, interior, chassis, and even the wheels. So I'm just going to start off lightly by doing the roof and the exterior bits on the body, and then slowly move my way through all of the carbon fiber for the interior, the chassis, and all of the other bits all around. Now the decals apply pretty well, just using a bit of decal setting and softening solution here and there, a cotton swab, some brushes, and just carefully rolling them into shape and not going too aggressively. Now on the rear there are some carbon fiber decals too, a couple of black bits and then some other bits all round that needed to be finished before I could apply the clear coat. The carbon fiber, the black bits, and some of the badges have been applied, so I could move on to going for the livery that I wanted. Now included are a couple different colors of stripes, and I figured the blue would look really cool with some orange. Luckily, the orange stripes were included, so I started applying them on the front, the roof, and also the rear section. And to finish the orange livery off, there is also a nice SF90XX emblem included for on the side. Now you could just leave these out, you could do pretty much whatever you want. I thought it would fit in really nicely to finish off the racy, sportier side of this build, and fits in really well with the stripes over top, so I did that. I then let it sit and dry overnight, just to make sure that there was no more moisture underneath all of the decals, and could then move it into the spray booth the next day for some clear coat. I'm going to be using the Streetblisters 2K Clear. This dries really nice and glossy and applies really easily. Now I'm just going to go over all of the decals with a light coat first, just to mist it in, then go over all of those hard to reach areas, and then give the rest of the body a nice good coat of clear too. With all of the hard to reach, easy to forget spots now covered, the decals covered, and the rest of the body having received a first layer too, I let that dry for about 10 minutes and then moved on to the second coat. This one was a lot heavier, just making sure that everything was covered again, and also that there was a ton of clear on there so it can just level out nicely and create that nice and smooth glossy finish we're all after. And there you have it for the body. Now, like I said, there is a ton more work to do on the interior. There are a lot more exterior carbon fiber bits that need doing too. This might take a while, so I'm not really sure if I'm going to be back next week or the week after, and if it's one video or multiple, but I'll be back with lots more carbon and stuff on this build.